Hi everyone, welcome to this online language skills lecture. This is Ahmet Çakyoglu from the Rotterdam University of Applied Sciences. Today we're going to focus on improving your essays. This lecture will be relatively brief because you will be practicing and writing a lot yourself. Just like last time, you might want to have a pen and a piece of paper at your disposal for some quick notes and activities. At the end of this lecture, you should be able to order words and adverbs correctly in your sentences at CPE level. Improve a CPE essay so it meets the requirements to pass your test. And use the common verbs have, get, and go on CPE level while avoiding errors. Let's do a quick homework check. For students of Fence 2D, I've given you 3 essay assignments in the past few weeks. The topics are listed here. So the first essay was about teacher language in grammar teaching. Then we had a second essay on accents and language norms. And then last time we did an essay on blended learning. Blended learning feedback is due today, so make sure to check cum laude later today to find the correction document. Remember that practice makes perfect. For other students who are listening, make sure you also put in the hours. There's a link to the assignments in the description section below if you want to keep practicing. Now, let's quickly go over word order with adverbs and adverbial phrases. Look at the 2 examples here. The first is an error which could be made on a CAE level. John every day goes to the park. But on CPE level, sentences get more complex and you might dig yourself into a situation that you can't get out of. John walks in the park in order to get fit after work enthusiastically every day. At first glance, you might think the sentence makes perfect sense, but we'll circle back to this later. There are 3 positions for adverbs. The initial position, which is at the very beginning of the sentence, and it is usually followed by a comma. However, the man was tall. Then there is the mid position, which is right before the main verb and of course after a form of to be. We use the mid position for adverbs of probability, frequency, and duration. He was definitely tall. Finally, there is the end position, which tends to be for longer adverbial phrases. We usually use this for adverbs of manner, place, and time. He was tall all his life. When several adverbs need to be placed in one position, the correct order is manner, place, frequency, time, and purpose. Exceptions are of course for emphasis and some adverbs that can be put in several positions. So an example might be, last night I went to the bar versus I went to the bar last night. Now both of these sentences are correct, where the first one puts the emphasis on that it happened last night. Normally, you would use the second form for a regular sentence. Now, try to remember that when using multiple adjectives in English, you should usually follow a certain order as well. The key word here is usually, because you can play with this order for emphasis. Although English is relatively flexible, in general you should try and stick to the order here. So we have opinion, size, shape, age, color, nationality, material, and purpose. Let's look at the examples here. And again, you could mix it up for emphasis, but if there is no need for that, you should really stick to the rule. So example 1 is, my wife has just bought a big new white German sports car. Dave is a handsome thin young man. I always carry a square red plastic bag. And then the last one is, her parents have just sold that ugly big square old brown Italian brick holiday house. So the last one is a bit exaggerated, but it does show the idea of what that order can mean for your own writing. And also remember that you should be able to explain to your pupils why we use a certain order. So it comes in handy in your teaching as well. Now let's circle back all the way to our complex CPE level error at the beginning of this lecture. Look at this sentence again. John walks in the park in order to get fit after work enthusiastically every day. Now you might want to pause the video and try and fix it before we go to the correct form on the next slide. So please pause now and press continue after correcting the sentence. And then here we have the correct form without emphasis, which is John walks enthusiastically in the park every day after work in order to get fit. Word order is really important and you will benefit from learning the correct rules. And you can find even more information on this in Objective Proficiency on pages 162 and 163, and pay special attention to the yellow corpse spot, which contains common CP level errors that you can fix and that you can learn from. Now have a look at Academic Vocabulary and Use Chapter 47. So you might want to pause the video later and get out your book. The proper vocabulary will really help boost the quality of your essay writing and writing in general. So make sure you focus on studying words as much as practicing writing. Now, Chapter 47 of Academic Vocabulary and Use teaches a range of vocabulary to help you emphasize your opinion on important aspects of your argument. So take out your book and in the paragraph here, try replacing the underlined words, which are relatively simple, with words from Chapter 47, which are of course much more academic. You might want to pause the video here and write your answers on a piece of paper. This video will continue immediately, so hit pause now before we go to the answers on the next slide. So these are some possibilities that Chapter 47 provides. So the first comprehensive study of cell phone use was completed last year. It was crucial to our understanding of modern society because it highlighted that our understanding of the impact of these devices is flawed. The idea that cell phones only have benefits is misguided and challenged by this study. And remember again, only by studying and repeating vocabulary can you really master these words. Try connecting with other students if you can, make a quiz, and check each other's work. Now for some more grammar. And we'll start with causatives, which we will form with have, get, and go. But you can do it with any other verb as well. So we use a causative verb when we want to talk about something that someone else did for us or for another person. It means that the subject caused the action to happen but didn't do it themselves. Maybe they paid for it or asked for it or persuaded the other person to do it. So an example would be, I have my nails done every 3 weeks. Or I got my nails cut last week, which you can compare with she cuts my nails every week. And then you'll see that the causatives focus on emphasis instead of the person causing the action to happen. So I got my nails cut last week focuses on the act of having it done by someone else, while the second sentence, she cuts my nails every week, focuses on the she person, which we leave out in the causative. If you find this interesting, you can find more information in the link provided here, which is also provided in the description section of the video. We also use have, get, and sometimes go to describe experiences that happened to us in a way we did not organize. So an example would be, I had my car stolen last week. That was such a drag. And another example is, we had a bunch of weird dudes follow us last week. Luckily, they turned out to be friendly and just needed directions. But you could also use this construction to indicate that you did have it organized. And then you could say, I had my car stolen last week because I really wanted the insurance money. Obviously, don't do that. That's bad. So basically, we're working on range, and improving your range will get you on CP level. And you can listen to something and you might study it slightly. That's all one thing. But what you really want to do is practice. On page 188 of Objective Proficiency, you'll find more details and information about have, get, and go. But also go to page 170 and do assignments 2, 3, 4, and 5. Of course, aside from Academic Vocabulary and Use Chapter 47, also study 48, and don't forget about the previous chapters. Keep studying that vocabulary and it will really help you. As for more on adjectives and order, please have another look at pages 162 up until 165 of Objective Proficiency as well. Now here's a quick word of caution. We noticed that some students aren't doing their writing assignments. You don't want to find yourself in year 7 or higher and still failing the CPE writing exam, and believe me, it does happen. Practice really does make perfect here, and you need feedback to get better. Feedback can only be provided if you write your essays. Think of last year where your CAE exams were the BSA norm. So make sure you put in the same effort and even more, because this is CPE level and you really want to pass it. Before we go to the writing assignment, I want to quickly mention the following. Please consider watching the following 12-minute YouTube video, as it shows the perspective and experiences of a fellow CPE student from Italy, a girl, and she might actually show you some tools on how the CPE exam works and what she did, what work she put in to get to the proper level. And again, the link will also be provided in the description section. And now here is the assignment for this week. Students of Vents 2D, make sure you turn it in before Sunday midnight so I can provide feedback before Tuesday during our final feedback sessions. Of course, the assignment is also available for download in the description section below. And what I want you to do, if you're in Vents 2D, upload it again on Cum Laude in the proper Turn It In folder. You're going to write an essay summarizing and evaluating the key points from both texts. Use your own words throughout as far as possible and include your own idea in your answer. Write your answer in 240 to 280 words. And for those of you who are not in Vents 2D, you can of course practice this yourself. Good luck! And that means we've reached the end of this lecture. Thank you for watching and listening, and I'll see students of Vents 2D next week during our feedback sessions.